Okay, hi everybody, this is Kelsey. I'm at 1570 AM radio in Chicago, and the show hasn't started, but the show will be starting here in a few minutes. My cousin invited me. Chris Burton is the director of the Man Up project in the Cook County, Illinois Department of Corrections. He has a ministry there, very good ministry going on, and he's also working with youth now in another endeavor. But he'll be speaking. You'll probably be hearing him during the taping. It's a half an hour taping from 12:30 to 1 o'clock p.m. today. It's Thursday, the 30th, 2016. So he'll be speaking. You'll be able to hear him speak about, I went to a program with him a week and a half, 2 weeks ago over at Banner School. Okay, it's just Banner School. And he was there. There were television cameras there, and he was talking about his endeavor that he's working with another activist here in Chicago, T.O. Hardiman, and they're going to be working with youth, and thank God for him, because somebody's got to get down there and do the trench work and deal with our youth. Radio station in Chicago is 1570 AM on your dial, 1570 AM. I think it's WXGB, if I'm not mistaken. WBGX is what it is, WBGX. Okay. So this is his show, so I'm not going to probably get much time to speak, but whatever it is, I want it taped so I can put it on the website so you guys can see it out there in the public, the preachers and the pastors. And I want the pastors to pay attention, and the clergy members and the public to pay attention to what Chris Burton is doing here. They're working with youth. Minister Chris Burton. He just corrected me. They're working with youth, and you know we're having some issues with our wayward youth right now. So it's good that he's doing this. So I'm encouraging all clergy and the general public as well, non-clergy. We get ready to take it.
And good afternoon. You are listening to the Sharon Harper Show. I am Minister Chris Burton. I'm sitting in for Sister Sharon Harper on today. And today's guest in the studio with me is actually my cousin. He's Kelsey Wicks. He's working with the National Black Churches and Black Community. He's an organizer, and this brother is very busy trying to get things together and working for the youth of Chicago. And we are so glad to have him here. Kelsey, you want to say good afternoon to our radio audience?
Yes, good afternoon, everybody, and it's a pleasure to be here. I'm grateful that Minister Chris Burton invited me in.
All right. And also on the phone, we should have our guest of the day, Mr. T.O. Hardiman, formerly of Ceasefire, and he is the CEO of Violence Interrupters International. Do we have T.O. Hardiman on the line? We don't have him on the line just yet. Well, we will look for that brother to call in. But we want to get started. On last week, we talked about the violence in Chicago. As many of you know, there are killings and shootings all over Chicagoland, and we're searching for answers. The Bible says that blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the sons of God. What does that tell me? It tells me that the church needs to come from behind the four walls and get busy. I'll say this: in the last few months, I have seen churches come out and be very present on the corners, talking to people, praying for people, invoking peace in the earth. We are the ones who can turn this thing around. We can invoke peace in the earth. The church has got to get out there. So no, time out for silence. Time out for preaching to the choir. Come on, Chicago, stand up. Too many young lives are being lost, and we are watching genocide actually take place in our communities. So we want to get out in the communities and let you know. I hear people all the time saying, I'm not marching, or what good does marching do? It don't do anything. It does not change things. Well, I'm here to differ with you, those naysayers. If it doesn't do anything else, it lets the community know that the church cares, that we're out there on the front lines doing what we're called to do. Jesus didn't just preach in the church. Jesus came out of the synagogues, and he went and he hung out with the whoremongers and the murderers and the thieves and the robbers and the drunkards. Why? Because he said that the whole need not a physician, but the sick. So we've got to go to the people that's on the street corners, that's on the streets with no food, homeless and feeling helpless. And we've got to speak to them, and we've got to help them. Buy that person a pair of shoes that's sitting on the sidewalk with no shoes on. Don't just pass them by. Come on. God gave us a great permission to go out and to preach the gospel to all the creatures. And that's the permission that's before the church. And so we're waiting on Brother T.O. Hardeman still to call in. If we can have him call in, the number is 773-752-9249. Still waiting on you to call in, Brother T.O. Hardeman. But in the studio we have our guest, another guest, and we can have him talk about what he's doing in Chicago. He is very busy and organizing and getting things together so we can move from the west side to the south side and be connected around the city in this fight against violence. So, Brother Wilkes, come on and tell the people about some of the things that you're doing, brother.
Okay, thanks a lot, Minister Burton. And I want to say amen to everything that you said. The church does have a great commission to go out and preach the gospel and to give to the poor and so many other functions. But what's going on here, what I've done is a call came in to Reverend Al Sharpton's radio show about 2.5 months ago now. Pastor from Fort Pierce, Florida, said that all the black churches had united and formed a corporation, and one of the first endeavors of the corporation was to build a grocery facility. So from that information came the expanded vision to try to unify all black churches in conjunction with the non-black church community and to pool those resources together so we can deal with some of this economic and social dysfunction that's been plaguing our communities now, as Minister Burton pointed out, for a long time. For decades we've been talking about doing this. And so I just want to stress that this is a spiritual endeavor. The first and primary function of this endeavor is to put the leadership role back into the hands of the churches in black communities. We think we really need that. It's reminiscent of the Montgomery, Alabama bus boycotts. Miss Rosa Parks, when she defied city ordinances and refused to give up her seat. The people unified. They came together with a purpose, which was to dislodge this discrimination, seating arrangements and so forth on public transportation, the city buses, and then they also endeavored by withholding their patronization of this unjust city ordinance that was in place at that time. So we also had our first meeting, National Black Churches, Black Communities Economic Summit meeting out at the New Ezra Missionary Baptist Church last Thursday, Minister Burton. Okay. And that was, we had some great speakers there. We had Martin Casey, who was the grandson of the late renowned S.B. Fuller. We had Reverend Al Sampson. I spoke. and we have other people there. And the next meeting is going to be on the west side, July 9th at 2 o'clock p.m.
Well, let me ask you this, Kelsey. What is it that about your organization, the organization that you're working with, National Black Churches? How is it relative to the fight in fighting violence today?
Okay, I think that a lot of violence is the reason for a lot of violence right now is because we don't have the system in place to provide opportunities and economic growth for people. This time last year, they might have the same amount of money in the bank. They might be economically stagnant, and I think that has a lot to do. So what we've done is we've tried to come up with solutions to provide economic stimulus. For example, a book is being written right now that is going to be a first release, and we plan on having other books come after that one, so that we can. We hope that many people in the black community and those that are interested in the book buy this book. That's going to create seed money, so we can begin to endeavor and dislodge some of this economic and social dysfunction that we've been experiencing. Also, we're going to be asking. We're proposing with this endeavor that each church, whether you got 10 members or 1,000 members, to give $10. Not that much money, but it's enough to keep you solidified to the endeavor. And we're going to be asking individuals to donate $10 in the black community. Those that can, some may not be able to afford it. Some people may give $100. But what we want to do is create a sustainable source of income through literature, these book releases that we hope to come out every 3 to 4 months. That's going to be available to the black community, and also through church donations and individual donations.
Okay, that's a lot of information, Chicagoland. I hope you heard it all. Hope you got it all. Brother Kelsey Wilkes is doing a very good work with the National Black Churches and Communities. Also, I want to give a shout out to my brother George Beatty, Minister George Beatty. We call him Jody Joe. We were on Central and Madison on yesterday, and we had a peace rally. So we're doing 100 churches on 100 blocks. Through the months of June and July, we will be on corners all over the city of Chicago. Churches are coming out, and in this fight against violence, we are out there in record numbers. On yesterday, we were on Central and Madison. Brother Jody, Minister Jody, and myself, we were out, and we grilled hot dogs, and we had the popcorn machine going, and we gave out water to the community, and there were a lot of participants. And so we just have a really good time, and just talking to the community, letting the community know that we are concerned about the violence that's going on in our neighborhoods. So we just want to take a look back, Brother Kelsey, at some of the numbers that's going on, the numbers that are becoming record numbers here in Chicago for the violence and the shooting and the killing. Over just the last 24-hour period, 18 shot on between Tuesday and Wednesday. 18 shot. That's ridiculous. A four-year-old little boy was shot. And, it's happening every day. Shootings on the lakefront, shootings in Orland Park, shootings in Tinley Park, on the west side, the north side, the east side. Every part of Chicago has been affected. And I often tell people when I go and I speak to churches that everybody needs to get involved. This is going to take all of our energy, all of our resources, all of our monies, to stop some of this violence, this senseless violence that's going on. And I say this: if you're not affected by it today, the violence is not at your door today, it'll be at your door tomorrow. I guarantee you, Chicago, we need to get involved with all of this stuff that's going on. There's shootings all over Chicago. And so what we want to do is we want to get out there and say, hey, enough is enough. So we're just staying there very busy with that. We're also, because there are so many of our youth that's standing on corners, wasting time and aimless, day after day, week after week. So we want to say to them, hey, let's get off these corners. Let's get back in school. Do something with your life. Over at Banner School, I am the truant officer for Banner West Academy, 819 North Leamington. And we are recruiting for kids between the ages of 16 and 21. If it's 22 years old, you will age out in the CPS system. So between the ages of 16 and 21, we want to get you back in school. If you've been kicked out of school, or if you dropped out of school, maybe you think that you have no resources or you have no alternatives. But that's exactly what Banner West Academy is. It's an alternative to CPS school, and we want you. You can call over at Banner 773-584-1188, 1188. That's 773-854-1188. Again, 773-854-1188. We want to give a shout out to Brother Eric Carlton over at Banner West Academy. He's our financial director, and he has done a great job for Brother Shannon, our assistant principal. We want to give a shout out to him. We want to pray for First Lady Regina Williams of God's Heritage Full Gospel Ministry over in Maywood, 1200 South 5th Avenue. First Lady has just come home from the hospital. First Lady, we love you, and we pray your immediate healing. We want to see you back in your place in the church. God bless you, First Lady Regina Williams. We also praying for the McGee family. The McGee family is going through tough times. We just lost the daughter, Jaleesa, and so we are praying for the McGee family. So we want to get back to talking about some of the violence. Brother Kelsey, what do you think is the solution for quelling the violence here in Chicago? What is some of the things that you think that we could do to make it better here in Chicago?
Well, Minister Burden, I'm really elated with some of the solutions that you all have, but I know that we have to try to get kids. Well, you just mentioned young people who are not in school. We have to convince them to invest in themselves, to go back to school. If you don't have a GED, go back and get that GED. Try to, go as far as you can with your education. But they also need, as I suggested before, they need opportunity. And so, Minister Bird, it is projected. You get different figures on the website. I've seen as low as $507 billion consumer spending by African Americans in America, up to $1.1 trillion. And Jesus condemned wastefulness, negligence, and irresponsibility in the parable of the wise steward in Matthew 25. And so we have to find some way to harness this and create opportunities and pass a legacy down. We have the opportunity to pass a economic legacy down to our posterity by being wise stewards of the money that we have now. And I just wanted to clarify something real quick. I'm not representing black churches nationally. What I do is I contact churches and tell them, what we're endeavoring to do here, and also the black community. So I do not represent them. I'm just, this is basically just an initiative to try to share the same information that I'm sharing with you right now. And also I just wanted to give them my number. The book that we're putting together, we need testimonies, 3/4 of a page to a page about something God has done for you, whether He healed you physically or whatever. The telephone number you can call me at is 312 area code 918-0057.
Okay, thank you. We are going to take a commercial break, and we will be right back.
You don't have enough memory on your camera. You got it. That's why I got this one. But
Did it stop?
Yeah, you on this one now. I got you on this one.
I just need some of that.
See, what I had to do before I came here, I had to erase videos on this camera. so I could have enough room to do this. But it was a white screen that came up, said, warning, not enough memory. You're going to have to erase some video. You got other videos on there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're going to have to erase the ones that are less important to you, so you have room to record. Yeah, you're doing a good job on that.
Yeah.
The only thing I didn't say was, just so, because I'm going to put this on my website.
Yeah, but make your responses to my questions
To your questions.
Look condensed. You're going too long.
I went too long.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just make them more condensed.
Okay.
So I can ask you more questions.
Yeah, you don't really have to, you don't really, if you could.
Okay.
Okay. You can cut me short on it. I don't really need to talk that much more. I don't really need to talk that much more. Just go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to talk to you.
Because you had 20 minutes now. You hearing Teddy Pendergrass now?
Mm.
You hearing Teddy Pendergrass singing now? Yeah.
I told him to play.
I didn't hear you say the name of your organization yet.
Okay.
Make sure you say that.
I'm ready.
So we still taping now. We still taping. We taping on here.
Okay. You got it going right. You can stop and play for more love.
We're taping. I'm just speaking to the camera right now, but we're just waiting. We're on a break right now, and we're waiting to come back in. And then T.O. Hardiman, who works, he and Minister Burton are working together on this endeavor. He'll be on the phone.
And we're back. On the line with us is Brother T.O. Hardiman, formerly of Ceasefire, former coordinator of Ceasefire, and CEO of Violence Interrupters. T.O., are you there? Hey, Brother T.O., man, how's it going? Yes. Okay, Brother T.O., we want to get right to it. You know what's going on in Chicago. We got violence all over. Young folks not organized in the gangs like they used to be. There's a bunch of cliques and blocks fighting each other and everything. We want to ask you, Brother T.O., what's your take on the violence in Chicago? How can we stop it? And what is your organization doing? Oh, okay. All right. Good. Well, what are some of the events that you may be organizing? I know you and I have walked through on the west side of Chicago, talking to some of the gang members and telling them to get back in school and stop the shooting. And so we also have some other things that's coming up. You and I have worked in the trenches together. So tell us about maybe some of the events that you're organizing right now. Wow, wow. That's good stuff, Tio. But Tio, tell our listening audience how they can contact and support your organization. Okay, Brother Tio, we're going to let you go, man. Thanks for calling in, and I look forward to doing some more work with you in the community. God bless you, Brother Tio. Keep strong, brother. All right. That was Tio Hardeman of Violence Interrupters Incorporated. Brother Tio is doing a lot of good stuff to help quell the violence here in Chicago. I worked with him when he was coordinator for Ceasefire, and also worked with him recently as CEO of Violence Interrupters Incorporated. That brother has a very good IQ in terms of stopping the violence here in Chicago. Our hats off to Superintendent Eddie Johnson, the new superintendent of the Chicago Police Department. I've met with him. He's come and walked with us on the west side. He's talked with us about some of the things that he's doing inside the police department to help the police department a better department and help to bridge the gap that's between Chicago police and the communities. So I think that he's doing a fine job, but the police can't do it all by itself. It's going to take our entire community. It's going to take all of us. So let's stand up, Chicago. Come on, churches, all the clergymen, all the community leaders, all the organizations. Let's come together and bridge this gap. Let's stay connected. Let's get out on the front line and talk about how we can quell the violence here in the city of Chicago. We're not giving up on our youth, Chicago. They're misguided sometimes. They're disrespectful sometimes. But we're not giving up on our youth in Chicago. We want to, and across the nation. It's not just a problem here in Chicago. Some of the other cities across Chicago, New York, New Jersey, St. Louis, are some of the most violent places in the nation. And so we want to say it to our youth all across the nation. We love you, and we support you. We're going to help you. We're going to support you. Each one, teach one is one of the things that we say. And so we just want to grow together. We just want to stay connected. We want to lock arms together and unify in this fight against violence. I'm over at Cook County Jail, 3 divisions. My organization, MB Life Changing Ministries. I am the CEO and founder of MB Life Changing Ministries. We have the Man Up Project over at 26 in California. I'm in 3 divisions, Division 11, 9, and 6 will be getting started pretty soon. And so we just want to work with the young men as they transition from Cook County Jail to maybe going down to prison, going downstate, or whether they come home. We continue to work with them. The second level of work on the for the Man Up Project is to work with them when they get out, to help them with jobs, help them with housing, clothing, whatever their needs might be. Substance abuse, we have connection to all the substance abuse centers, and so there's no reason for us to stand on corners anymore, people. There's no reason for us to do some of the things. Let's stop all the black on black hate. Let's stop all the putting each other down. Let's start to lift each other up. Let's start loving each other, supporting each other. We also want to just work with the community, those in whatever their hurts are, whatever their situations are. We're praying for the McGee family. They just lost Jaleesa McGee, and those services will be this weekend. I won't announce it, but we're praying for the McGee family. And so, and shout out before I forget, Eddie over at Max Records. Eddie has been a big supporter of mine. We want to give Eddie a big shout out at MacArthur of MacArthur's Restaurant, 5411 on Madison, and we want to just tell the community thank you for all your support. Every Wednesday at 6 p.m. we will be on some corner. My corner is Central Madison, every Wednesday at 6 p.m. through the months of June and July. Come on out, Chicago. Let's stand up in this fight against violence. Let's stand up and be heard. Let your voice be heard. Remember, prayer changes things. Let's come together and lock arms and pray for our city. God bless you till we talk to you again next week. God bless. Bye-bye.